Hi, this is Rachel the Dime Diva, and welcome to episode 1 of Dime Life. This is my lifestyle show, which is going to cover all things pertaining to me: relationships, career, co parenting, parenting, spirituality, self care, beauty, hobbies, all of the above. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey. I also am planning to start doing some vlogs and get ready with me's on this channel. So, in addition to the Dime Life show, there will also be some additional content and short form content too coming your way. So, for the first episode of my show, Dime Life, I figured that I would start off by sharing with you guys my journey from leaving Big Law, how I left Big Law. And the idea that I got today was because I was working at my job. I am currently an in-house attorney, so I work for a international investment bank, and I work in their litigation department. And I made that transition after leaving my job in Big Law as an associate. And so today I had a hearing working for my job. I was wearing this pink outfit. And I was like, you know what? This reminds me of Elle Woods from Legally Blonde. And at my old job, I always said that I was on the journey to becoming the Black Elle Woods. And I didn't really know what I was manifesting by saying that. But I realized that I was actually manifesting breaking free from hustle culture and trying to prove myself, to really focusing on being the most me I can be and not caring about what people in the legal profession think is the most important thing. So I have my little champagne today to celebrate. So cheers to that freedom. And then let's just jump right in. So I graduated from law school in 2018, and I immediately started working for my mom's law firm doing special education law. And after a few years of doing that, in 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, I decided that I wanted to go work for a law firm. And after a few twists and turns in the road, I ended up at a big firm. I ended up at a firm that had over 600 attorneys, that was nationwide, and that was one of the top 100 law firms in the nation. That's called the AmLaw 100. And those are the top 100 revenue producing firms in the United States. So this is the epitome and the definition of big law. So big law has a reputation, and the reputation is well earned. It's known for long hours, needing to be on all the time, grind culture, heavy demand, and high pay. And I experienced all of those things while I was in big law. So I liken it to the movie Legally Blonde because when I decided to leave big law, I kind of had the same aha moment that Elle had in the movie. So I'll briefly describe Elle's aha moment, and then I'll talk about how I had mine. So in Elle's aha moment, Elle Woods is the main character of Legally Blonde. She is the blonde that ends up going to law school at Harvard Law to follow her boyfriend who broke up with her, and to kind of prove to him, like, I can do this, I can be there with all the bigwigs. So when she gets to Harvard Law, she's in a class with Professor Callahan, and he has this prestigious program where his students can help him with a trial, and he picks like the top of the top students. So Elle is chosen along with Warner, her ex-boyfriend, and a few other students, including Warner's current fiance. So Elle is in there trying to prove herself, trying to do the most, trying to show Professor Callahan, I can do this. I'm one of the best of the best. She's trying to defend this woman who has been accused of murder and who's innocent. And then a twist happens. Professor Callahan tries to basically sexually assault or at least sexually harass Elle. Inappropriate sexual advances towards a student. And at that moment, Elle says, you know what? This is total BS. This is like a toxic environment. I'm getting out of here. She tells the person who's on trial for murder that they're helping with the clinic with Professor Callahan. And the client actually decides to hire Elle as her attorney, which is legal because Elle was being assisted by Professor Callahan's assistant, who was a law firm partner and a practicing lawyer. So Elle strikes out on her own. And spoiler alert, for a movie from 2001, Elle wins the case. So I liken my journey to Elle Woods in that I came into big law kind of thinking like I have to prove myself. So in law school, I wasn't on law review. Even though I was the number 2 in my law school class, I felt like I was not the typical law school student because I went part-time. I, didn't do a bunch of extracurriculars. I didn't do a clerkship after law school where you work for a judge for like a year or 2. I didn't do a lot of the prestigious things that people do to work at big firms. But I got great grades. I'm a good writer. I interview well. And so I ended up getting recruited to go to a big firm. And so when I got there, I felt a little bit of imposter syndrome. So similar to Elle, I was kind of trying to prove myself. And I was so busy trying to show folks that I belonged that I didn't really think about, do I actually want to be here though? That was really the question. Like, do I actually want to be here? So what happened for me is that I got put on a very high profile, very heavy workload and very high stakes matter with one of our top earning partners at the firm who just so happened to be the head of the litigation department. And I was put on the case with a senior associate and another junior associate. And the case was an absolute dumpster fire. The other junior associate was constantly trying to put work off on me. I was calling my parents constantly trying to, have them talk me down off the ledge. There was an entire month, April 2024, I worked 7 days a week. I did not have a day off for an entire month. And mind you, the sickest part was when it came time to actually do the hearing itself. I was disinvited to actually attend the hearing, and the other junior associate who was always pawning work off on me was the one who was allowed to go. And this was at the choice of our client. And keep in mind that our client is a multi-billion-dollar company and one of the top companies that operates worldwide. Okay? So the fact that they were not willing to pay for a second associate to be on hand during the proceedings was wild. So that case was really the turning point for me, where I realized, you know what? It was kind of like Professor Callahan harassing Elle. I was like, I don't actually want to be here. Just because people consider this prestigious, this sucks. I don't like this at all. I'm working 7 days a week. I'm not getting to spend quality time with my child. I was holding on to my baby weight because of stress and, not having adequate time to exercise and take care of myself. There was days where I would forget to drink water. I was regularly working 2 shifts. So I would get to work, I would work until like 5 or 6 in the evening, get home just in time to see my daughter before she went to bed, put her to bed, and then get back on my laptop and work again until 11 p.m. And in dire situations when something was due immediately, sometimes I would work until 2 a.m., sometimes I would work until 4 a.m. So I realized, you know what? This is not serving me. This is not the life that I want to lead. And I think I need to get out of here. And so once you manifest those type of things into the universe, God is listening. And so shortly thereafter, I got the offer from my current job. I was working with this partner who kind of, I guess, in this analogy would be like Elle's mentor, who ended up being her future fiance. In this case, this was not a romantic interest of mine. He's a much older married gentleman. But he put me on several teams for the financial services group, and he was always willing to work around my schedule working with other partners because he saw my excellence, he saw my commitment to the clients, and he saw that I was dedicated to doing the best job possible. So he would be really patient with me when it came to the fact that I would have to work around other cases constantly. So this partner always was giving me great opportunities, putting me up front, and feeling like I was worthy of the spotlight. And he's still one of my mentors to this day. So the client that I was working for was the company, the investment bank that I now am inside counsel for. And my immediate in-house connection ended up moving to a higher position, and she moved to New York City. So when she moved to New York City, a position in Los Angeles opened up for her spot. So her boss contacted my mentor and said, "Hey, we really like Rachel, your associate. Do you think that she would be interested in moving to an in-house position and working directly for the investment bank?" Now, this is where my analogy to Elle continues, because when Elle was approached by the client who was being being accused of murder, who was on trial for murder, when the client said, "Elle, I want you to represent me," Elle had imposter syndrome at first and was like, "Wait, me? I'm still a law student. Professor Callahan is one of the most famous attorneys in the nation. Don't you want him to represent you?" And so I had that kind of moment myself. I was not that familiarized with financial services. I didn't feel like I was an expert in the field, but I trusted that my now boss knew enough to see the potential in me and to know that I could do a great job. And I also knew that my destiny was not to stay as an associate at this big law firm, and that this was God's way and the universe's way of getting me out of there. So despite being nervous, I took the leap and I left. And similar to Elle, when she won the murder trial and was able to get the client off who was actually innocent, I came to the investment bank and I was able to excel. I've now been there since September, so we're now in April, and things are going amazing. My life has changed. I started this YouTube channel. I started my Rachel the Dime Diva sports page, and I have expanded my friendships, my hobbies, my relationships. My relationship with my daughter is flourishing. My health is improving, and my life is just falling into place. And I oftentimes say it does feel like I escaped from a cult. Because the mind control that they have over you at those big law firms to think that you're, the cream of the crop and that you're privileged to be there, it should really be studied by like cult scientists and sociologists. But now that I've made it out, I couldn't be happier. And I can say that, yes, I am on my way to becoming the Black Elle Woods. I am her. I'm going to be her. And I'm happy to be here on this journey. So that's all for episode 1 of Dime Life, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Cheers!